Hey everyone, welcome to Ben Garza Studios. Yeah, we're back with some more paintings, and today I'm going to be doing something really different. I'm going to be working straight from imagination based on a very radical dream that I had last night. As you know, there is a lot of controversies going on in the world right now. People fighting about vaccines, whether to wear their masks, watching countries getting taken over, and governments being changed. There's just a whole lot, and I feel like I've been dealing with this, really like everyone else since last year. And I try so hard to, create the show, to have these distractions so that way we can talk about something, besides what else is out there. But I think it really got to me last night. And this dream was just more like a vision, a flood of images. And so, first thing I did this morning was just sit down and really try and hammer out in a small sketch what that kind of looked like. Here's some of the images from the drawings. Yeah, I just laid them out very easily. This is pretty much what I saw. And then I just kind of did a little bit more thinking and played around with the layout. And I feel like I've come to something that I can work towards. And although I know that the paintings are going to change because they're going to develop on their own as I get closer to completion. So, yeah, with all that being said, this is the first time that I'm actually going to be working on a triptych also, which is 3 different paintings that come together to make a large-scale painting, just in case you don't know what a triptych is. And, yeah, I'm so excited. I got plenty of canvas laid out before me. This one's going to take a while, so maybe I'll just stop talking and we'll get to working. Okay, so the palette is looking pretty simple right now. I got some Prussian blue, phthalo yellow green, viridian hue, cadmium yellow, some permanent rose, and dioxazine purple on there. I'm just going to start here because what I see is kind of like a emerald green glowing coming out of the majority of these. And so, yeah, you're probably thinking, what did you do, Ben? What are you doing? That looks terrible. I know. But yeah, I just like to lay down these acrylics. This is acrylic here. I just quickly go over the background just to create a little bit of interest there. And yeah, this piece, just so the emerald that goes in between will really come through because of the black on the side. And then this sky blue here, it's like a king's blue. This is really going to just sit behind in the far background. And just add a little bit of vibrancy, a little bit of energy in the back. And yeah, that's what we got so far. So now I'm just going to prop you back on the stand and start getting in on the sketch. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm all ready to go, and I'm trying to find a good place for the camera, but I can't do that because my room's too small. So I quickly ran out of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take these outside, so that way I can have the camera, because I want to show you how I'm going to work on all 3 of them at one time. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might just come back in and have to change it all up, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do 3 paintings in my tiny room, and they're pretty big too, so I do this all the time. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so I got everybody set up outside. It's a little windy, so maybe one of these will go flying away, but it's a chance I'm willing to take. Anyway, so yeah, let's just get started here. Okay, so it's another day. What happened yesterday? Well, two things. Remember I told you that it was kind of windy and probably some of the paintings were going to fly off of the stands? Well, they did. Two of them did. And I laid them on the ground thinking, alright, so this should be a quick fix. And then animals started walking on the paintings. And then tree limbs and leaves started blowing on there. So it was very distracting. And then the second thing is the sun, I guess, just decided to come out and say hello. And so the light was blasting down on the baby painting here. And I couldn't really tell where my darks and my lights, or how dark my darks were. So yeah, it just became a whole lot. I said, forget about it. You know, I packed it all up. I brought it inside. I worked on the syringe here just a little bit, just to kind of blow off some steam. And yeah, I just packed it up and I went to bed. So today's a new day and feeling good. I'm going to take this guy outside. It's much earlier, and I think we'll have more shade. And yeah, no, I'm excited at least to go paint outside. And let's see, maybe I can get some better camera angles, because this piece, this is the first time I've actually done, I think this is like a 4x4 inside the studio here, and it's a little too small and it feels kind of cramped. So it's a beautiful day, you know, it stopped raining, and yeah, what can I say, all the animals are awake. I'm just looking at the pond. And yeah, alright, let's go set up outside and have some fun. Alright, so here we are, all set up, ready to go. I'm so stoked. The sun is starting to peek through, so I gotta get going. And we'll just be listening to the sounds of nature. The cicadas are out here. I always imagine that there's probably like really 3 squirrels up in a tree, just shaking the hell out of these maracas, just like laughing their asses off, trying to figure out like, do you think anyone's gonna figure out it's us? It's really us. And they're like, da, 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 da. Anyway, yeah, that's enough for now. Let's just get painting. So how's that? I think I'm getting closer to projecting the message of this painting. Yeah, this is probably a little shocking at this point, but this is the end of the piece. So what I'm going to do now, sorry, I hope you can hear me, these cicadas out here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring out the other pieces and start to make you know, all 3 of them work together, and I'm basically just using the colors of each painting, kind of intertwining between each one to achieve that. So yeah, I think it's turning out great. It's a little raw right now and there's still a ways to go, so just hang in there, and yeah, you'll start to see this is where the piece is really going to start to turn around. Alright, I'm going to go grab the other pieces. final stab, I just mix up this really, really, really wet paint, and to just add a little bit of, I guess, to express my frustration with the whole ordeal. Yeah, I'm just gonna use I'm just gonna throw this at the canvas. So, yeah, you can see it just kind of had a lot of linseed oil. Just get that viscosity really, really loose, really wet. Not too wet. I like the chunks, so I'm gonna keep those chunks. Yeah, that's looking great. That looks great. It's like a little more than I saw in my head and in my dreams, but man, I love when they come out like this. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think I'll take them inside, and then I just want to walk you through a little bit of like what each part of it is, saying. Maybe not every part, because I don't want to, I'm not trying to just give everything away. But within a few comments, I think you totally understand it. I mean, there's a lot of verbiage, so yeah, I think you get it. All right, let's see if we can get them inside without getting paint everywhere. Ooh, what a chore. Okay, so here we are, new day. I would say the paintings are complete, but I am going to have them up on the walls drying for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to be really tempted to add more to them. So what you see here, I would say that's the final result, but there may be a few little things here and there. I spent the rest of the evening yesterday working on them inside, because when you're doing a painting outside, the light, it can be very strong. So I bring them inside and just kind of touch them up a little bit. I changed a few things just so that there's more contrast in different shapes. And yeah, just kind of played with them for the rest of the afternoon inside, just to make sure that they're going to actually translate with the indoor lighting. And yeah, so I told you I'd explain a little bit about the paintings. Okay, enough BS. So to begin with, I'm just going to explain what I'm projecting here with these paintings. I told you in the beginning that all of these paintings came to me in a dream. It was a pretty radical dream, and they were very vivid pictures. Originally, there was a soldier that was holding a baby like this, and I think you saw that in the sketch at the beginning of the video. But I decided to scrap that, because it felt like when I was laying it out, the soldier was going to kind of like compete with the focus of the baby here, and decided to go with some skulls on the bottom, because really ultimately the beginning of the painting is the entrance of a child into a new world, but to also acknowledge their ancestry, is what you'll find down on the bottom here. Yeah, and let's see what else. Yeah, so, and then the second drawing is the syringe, which is basically, there's a huge controversy and there's a whole lot going on right now. People, do they want to take the vaccine? Do they not want the vaccine? They feel like, and this is just a global issue right now too. It's not just in the United States. We see this everywhere. So yeah, I really wanted to kind of like bring to light this discussion, this push and pull that's going on right now. And yeah, so that's really how that kind of interplayed. It was the baby and the soldier, and then I kept seeing the image of the syringe here, and yeah, I just added some bats around the background to just kind of heighten up that tension, to just kind of address where this virus came from. And yeah, we'll get into that later. And then, of course, the image on the back behind me is an image of an angel with his wings torn off. That was the last image that I saw before I woke up, and there was this really loud, like reverberated scream, and I just saw like an angel, and someone had, not someone, but like the wings just came ripped off, got ripped right out of the angel, and to me, it just, I woke up and I felt like that is, that's kind of like the angels crying, our past loved ones crying and telling us, that this is hurting them too. Yeah, there's a whole lot more to that, but I'm just trying to keep this quick. So now let's go into the color. So you saw the beginning of the video. What I did was I laid down the acrylic. This is just like a Thalos blue, King's blue. Not a Thalos blue, it's more like a King's blue, really light sky blue. And I just laid that down. The reason I laid down the acrylic is because it's much easier to write with the oil sticks. And I don't have to wait for the oil to dry. With the acrylic, it dries, and like, for example, this word magic, it's so much easier. So it speeds up the process. But what is crazy is I'm reading this book right now, Art After Metaphysics, and it has a small section that's talking about iconotypes, which you can see the word there, iconotypes. And in the Mesopotamian and Egyptian time period, there was a belief that the world, that you were a being inside the world, like a mother, and what we get like Mother Nature, right? So the blue sky is more like a embryonic fluid, that encases us in the world. And we also see that in the Christian beliefs too, where you see like the Madonna and Child. Usually she has the blue veil over her head, which is just a small adaptation of that belief. So when I started to work with the color, I wanted to project that too, that kind of enveloping, encasing of the triptych that really holds together the three pieces, and I was trying to use that color to unify this triptych, but also along the lines with thinking about how is it that a child, our scenario for our vaccines, and the angels, the afterlife kind of speaking to us, are we all encased in our world? I think so, because if you can think it, you can feel it. If you can feel it, you can think it. That type of ideology is really, that's kind of what came to me in the dream, is that, yeah, we're really just all under one, under one dome, collectively trying to make it work. But there's a lot of push and pull. And like I said, it's just not in the United States. That's all over, all over the world. So this is more of a global issue. Yeah, so that was kind of like the introduction for the blue in the background to really help pull that together. And then I went on to use these pinks and reds in here. Really thinking about Delacroix and, you know, the Romantics' use of red as far as symbolizing blood and lifeline. So again, we're getting closer into the the we're getting closer to the core of the subject, by using red and really talking about, you know, our humanity, and what makes us human is our blood and our being. So that was the purpose behind using the reds and the pinks. Yeah. As far as the green goes, I chose the color green because I feel like the potions, or people have made, there's such a controversy about taking the vaccine, that I feel like it's kind of like some magic potion. And when you think of a magic potion, like in a cartoon, you imagine like a mad scientist working with this, you know, kind of emerald green substance, and so that's why you see that here. But I also wanted to use that green to kind of, that emerald substance, that magic potion, to reflect in each of the three pieces. And you know, so I think I've said enough about that. As far as the verbiage goes, you know, like all of us, you can't really escape the news coverage, and so yeah, there's only so much that I can listen to before I just feel like I really just have to write this down. There was a lot of strange words that are being thrown around, and so this is where, you know, a lot of this stuff goes on, and then taking in what I'm reading on a daily basis, that also gets involved. So you'll see the word hope in each three of these pieces, and at the end of the painting, you can see here, it says, the angel screams hope is a lost feather, right? That's kind of like a close to the piece. And we also see, like I heard this word, endocytosis. I didn't know what that means, so I went and looked it up, and it was like a fancy word of, you know, the making of cells and growing in and out. It's a lot deeper than that, but that's just kind of like a rough idea of what it is. Yeah, so what other words we got here? And then on the back, I really wanted to bring to light a lot of push and pull that's been going on for a long time. And again, these are more words that I heard in interviews and a lot of news coverage. And it says, make America monsterize humans. I didn't hear somebody say that exact phrase, but that's just like a collage of phrases that I've heard. And so I really wanted to put that up there as a way to speak about the times, but not be as explicit as, you know, America fights all the time, or the world is fighting. Those type of phrases, I think it could have easily worked too, but I felt like that was a little bit more poetic. So yeah. And then lastly, we just have the money signs, because, you know, like everything in the world, all things lead back to money. And yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, so to just kind of break it down roughly, you know, we have these people in Afghanistan that are giving up their children. And so I believe this is where this image came from. The child being passed over, his ancestors, and enveloped in this one world, this womb of the world. And what does that mean? Passing over your ancestors with money on the side, and, you know, passing over or bringing hope into a new beginning, to enter a new fight, right? And then, of course, we have the magic potion and the endocytosis and hope, followed by the bats, which is where this life takes us. And then finally, at the end, there's really just a lot of fighting, and the angel loses his wings, and the process kind of begins all over again. So, maybe you might feel like that's a little vulgar to say, or maybe a little bit, you know, cynical to say, but I don't make people do things. You know, people do things, and all I can do is observe them. And the only outlet that I have is either through writing my music or painting. And sometimes they all kind of come together. And so that's what we have here. Yeah. And then, I mean, I could go on for hours, really. And then also discussing, you know, the imagery in, you know, why I'm doing certain things, why it looks messy, why there's a lot of canvas showing, why this, why that. But I don't want to spoon feed you everything. So, yeah. I'm going to take a sip of my tea because that was a hell of a lot to talk about. I hope you enjoyed that. I never really do that before. I kind of like for my paintings to live in a mystery, and I like for them to live in a way to where your interpretation is entirely your own. I think that art is way more enjoyable that way, to be able to give someone their own ideas and let them investigate and come to their own conclusions. It won't mean that anyone's right or wrong. It just means that what you end up with is your own, your very own. So, I'm going to do a sweep over all three of the paintings and show you guys up close all the things that I discussed. So, let's go do that.